Hey everybody. Oh Lord, the max is coming, so I gotta make this real quick. Before the start of today's therapy walk video, remember as always to like, share, subscribe, do all those little things that help my channel. Hit up my Patreon if you can and help me out that way. I'm posting multiple times a week, various forms of content you can only get if you sign up for my Patreon now. The link to that is in the description with this video, as well as the links to my Facebook page, Instagram page, TikTok, and Reddit subreddit. And on that note, let's start today's video. Oh. Hey, what's up? I didn't see you there, even though I'm holding you. Steve, it's me, amateur historian, whatever, what have you. I'm on my way to the max. I just got a wild hair to do this potentially reckless trip. Kind of a few different things kind of aligned the stars, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. Even though it may be detrimental to my health. So I guess it's a therapy walk, or rather, since it may be hazardous to my health, maybe it's more like an anti-therapy walk, or yeah, I like the sound of that. That sounds about right. Anti-therapy walk. Good for no one. Okay, I'm popping out by the freeway, the max tracks, and all that fun stuff. So, as I said, a few different things kind of drove me to just randomly do this today. One, I was there yesterday and couldn't get on the freaking max. I'll tell you that story once I'm out walking around, as is typical for my therapy walk, anti-therapy walk. You know, I talk to you about stuff, but today I'm gonna hop on the max just for a few stops, going back that way into the light. Don't walk into the light. Yeah, that was scary. Damn it! I think a max is just about to leave. Just my luck every time. Anyway, today I'm going to meander around the area that I guess it doesn't, saying this based on what people have said on Reddit that have lived there. It's not quite what it used to be, which I guess is a good thing, but I'm gonna head down and walk around the area of Portland's Felony Flats. I want to say neighborhood. It's not really a neighborhood, it's just kind of a general area. But I'm gonna meander through there a little bit. You know, get myself robbed, get some heroin offered to me. I don't know. I know 82nd and Flavel is a real gem. And, you know, I'm not going to traverse everything that's been considered maybe or not, because it seems like, you know, everybody that was on Reddit, they kind of have a different explanation for what qualifies as Felony Flats. Some have narrowed it down to just like one little stretch. Some have narrowed it down to like Duke Street to Flavel, 52nd to 82nd. Some people have said like anything south of Powell Boulevard, which I think is a little excessive. So there's a lot of different perspectives, prescriptions. There's a lot of different ideas about what exactly qualifies as Felony Flats. And even though apparently it's not as, there goes my max. So even though I guess it's not quite as felony-ish anymore, it's still pretty sketchy in various parts. But I'm going to be focusing more on, I guess, the southern fringe of that, kind of in the Flavel area, because that's where I was yesterday. And me and my girlfriend just randomly started talking about Felony Flats, as it were. And, yeah, so I get to show you around, hopefully not get messed with, and, you know, talk about stuff. all the stuff I used to tell her. How you doing? How are you feeling? Are you feeling good? Talk to me about your feelings. All right, here's to hoping this stupid infernal machine will work for me. Yeah, so yesterday I walked around, did some vlogging, and I went to the Flavel Max stop. And I was gonna get a pass and, go home. It was really that simple. But randomly, the machine there decided it wasn't going to recognize where's my debit? There it is. It decided that it just wasn't going to connect with my bank. That was there. It never happened to me before. Getting a pass. So, sorry for that odd. I was trying to buy a pass and trying to multitask. So yeah, and I got real mad, and the Max was pulling up as that was happening, and I was getting mad. I was like throwing my hands up because it was just like the Max is never showing up right when I get to a stop. So I'm like, woohoo! I'm finally gonna show up and not have to wait for a Max. And it's the one time the thing decides to not work for me. So I got a little pissed. And the thing was, I was on my way to work.
I didn't know they were that good. We thought it was that good, but I didn't know it was that good, man.
And here we are. It's that piece of crap machine that wouldn't work for me. Well, yeah, just to finish that story, because I was on my way to work, and then I ended up having to walk all the way to work because this thing didn't work, and the next stop down would have dropped me off 10 blocks from where I'd be getting off anyway, so it was like, why even bother? And that machine wasn't going to work, so I just walked the rest. I walked all the way to work. It's about 5 miles from my place to work. Alright, so this here is Flavel. Flavel's kind of iconic, and I guess you could say, in the realms of Felony flats. It's always brought up. And I'm walking towards 92nd. Can I get across here without getting murdered? Not by a crackhead, but by a vehicle. Oh my god, there's no freaking sidewalk over here. Okay, that was my bad. That was my blunder. Probably should run so I don't get mowed down. Something tells me I'm not gonna like the way people drive in this area. Okay, here we go. This is... Alright, I'm safe. For now. Anyway, okay, so I'm at 92nd and Flavel. Let the adventure freaking begin. Alright, Flavel. Walking Flavel, waiting to get messed up. Man, what's behind here? I'm interested to know, and I'm also not. Now, I'm wondering... So, not to get too deep into my girlfriend's affairs, but after me and my girlfriend broke up many years ago, we didn't just recently break up, don't panic. She said that he lived in a apartment in Felony Flat, so I'm almost wondering, is this the spot? She said he lived kind of close to the stop I just got off at, and here I am just the other side of that. Hearing some yelling back here, but I think it's just a mom and her kids. But you never know, you start hearing someone screaming, it's like, what's that all about? But anyway, yeah, so anyway, my girlfriend dated this dude after me, and he was kind of a piece of crap. That's all I'll say about that, but we especially now that we've been back together for so long, we poke so much fun at this guy for the piece of crap that he was, and maybe still is, I don't know, neither one of us has seen him in a few years. He came in to work not long after me, not long, this truck's trying to get around me, not long after we got back together, and I felt this just rage. It's like acid reflux. But he was just like, hey man, I was like, hey, what's up? So I'm at work, I have to at least feign cordial behavior. Well, I don't know. There's another apartment complex over here. So it's probably one of these. Anyway, that he was living in when she was dating him. But we found something. Now, we can't prove to an absolute certainty that it's him. But there was another person who had the exact same first, last, middle name as the guy that she was dating. And he got busted by, I think, Portland State Police. He was like in a hallway. He'd apparently like gone up to this hotel with some couple ladies, and he was doing something with himself in the hallway, and he got busted on it. Oh, speaking of busted, that car got his back end busted. So yeah, he got, ooh, there's a Christmas sweater in there, and a lot of mystery to be seen in there. Actually, it looks like there's a sign in there. Oh, it's because the corridor comes out here. That's why I was like, why is there a sign over there? And then the corridor just pops up. But anyway, yeah, this guy got busted for trying to find ways around saying the actual term. He was engaging in a pleasureful experience by himself. And he got busted. A cop busted him, and he said he just had his hands in his pockets or whatever. So yeah, we're pretty sure it was him. And yeah, he lived somewhere along this stretch. And yes, I do have protection on me, in case you're wondering. I got protection here, just in case someone chooses to mess with me. Probably gonna have my mask on periodically as well, just because you don't know what kind of weirdos are gonna be looming around here, and if they're gonna walk up to you with like no sense of what's going on. That guy's van needs some work. Well, that's a classic Portland street. And then there's the pretty little, stuff like this has I mean, it's nice. They're trying to someone's doing some art, trying to be pretty, but you often find a lot of stuff like this pop up in areas that aren't that great as a way to kind of act. And, that is one of the things that I read when I was kind of looking up what people were saying about Felony Flats, what it's like, where it's at, its heyday. And, they said, one of the things that's changing is that, they're gradually, slowly building nicer homes, and like slowly but surely beautification is coming more and more to the southeast side, and it's not the rampant ghetto it used to be. And this is kind of nice. Got a fire hydrant with some flowers. I'm gonna veer off briefly. Just get off the main drag. Kind of take you down a Felony Flat residential street. Now again, I mean, a lot of people say Felony Flats kind of pretty much hasn't been what it once was. It hasn't been at its notorious state in several years. But I guess, yeah, people were saying, back in the heyday, you'd get people to come up to you and just rob you, just, point blank. Oh, anybody need some trash? And just a lot of random stuff would happen, and people would just, and I know even today, I don't care what people have to say about Felony Flats in general, 82nd and Flavel, which I'm gonna get to, is, that whole area is interesting. Several months back, when we'd been in like the COVID lockdown for like 3 months or something, and everyone in the house was getting real antsy, we started going out, and I did a couple videos on it, us driving around and like following what was coming in through like the police blotter to like see where, you know, crimes were happening as they were happening. And I think we showed up in the immediate aftermath, but just a little south of 82nd and Flavel, there's that, you know, just another in a line of kind of sketchy looking motels. And apparently it was a guy that just, I don't remember all the pertinent details, but a guy like just stormed up to the place and like pulled a sword on someone.
What the fuck? See, that's the kind of shit I was waiting for.
We got a sword.
I also have a sword in mine. You're right, there it is. Okay. The lit up one. Okay, so we're gonna look for police cars.
There's something.
That's something.
Looks like there's something parked next to the building with its lights off.
Yeah, it's a police car. It's a police car.
I'll be walking southbound 1 and Cooch. Hold on to him for a minute.
Okay, there's one chick walking. I'm seeing police walking around. I saw one guy walking up.
And there was a woman walking down from the...
Maybe she worked there or was a guest.
Just spoke with the Tremont supervisor, said there are no...
Police guys just started recognizing us and be like, these people are at our scenes a lot. I wish I could park, but that's a little too far back. I wouldn't worry. Hold on, let's just try to give a good look.
Yeah, the 550's info can be cleared out. I just went through there.
There's a bunch of people by a car over there, but that was about it.
Yeah, talking in the police car.
We're just driving along like, God, when are we going to get a good story? And then it's like, we have reports of a man wielding a sword in front of the, you know, so-and-so motel on 82nd. And we were like, oh, let's get it. Oh, man. Free computer screen. Right there. I want it. So I'm at 86th and Knapp. Okay, I'm going to turn, because I do want to go through 82nd and Flavel, even though I may not live to tell the tale. I might not go all the way through it, because a lot of the sketchiness is more on the east side. That's where the 7-Eleven is. There's a really sketchy hotel there, or motel there, that just you look at it and you know something isn't right. And I've looked up reviews on it, and they kind of vindicate those feelings. I've said, like, I don't know if you watch Dan Bell on YouTube, but he's and a couple other guys are part of this really great series called Another Dirty Room. I feel like people who watch my content have probably seen that, but anyway, I've always felt like if they did Another Dirty Room episode here in Portland, this motel up here would be a great place to start, because it checked off all the points. I've heard people say there's bed bugs in there, there's mold, the management is really sketchy. But you know, it isn't sketchy. Look at this. It's adorable. It's like a little gathering spot. But yeah, it's called the Daron, I think is what it's called. It's like DAR-RON. Every time I'd go by it on 82nd Avenue, going up the street on the bus, I would just look out and I'd be like, that is a perfect Another Dirty Room episode. And the fact that there's always sketchy people hanging out by the 7-Eleven right next to it, oh, just adds to it. I'm almost back to Flavel here, so I'm gonna slip the mask on for safety. So I just had, not confrontational or anything, I just had someone walk up. They obviously saw me like pausing by that little cute covering thing. And we're just kind of like, hey, what you videoing? Not sketchy, like, what are you doing? And I just told me, oh, you know, I'm just, you know, a vlogger. I like to just go out and vlog random parts of Portland. And the guy kind of chuckled and was like, well, be careful videoing in this area. Or words to that effect. And I was like, yeah, I get you. I'm going to be very, very, very cool about where I make it fully known that I'm videoing in places like right up here at 82nd and Flavel, where I probably don't want to make that clear. Ooh, half and half. 2 free tires and a broken Modelo bottle. Every like 5 feet, there's another gem to be found on the ground. Cardboard. It's like, look like it was like a hot dog holder. Gems. Okay. So 84. Oh yeah. So 80 seconds right up here. I don't know though. It looks pretty quiet right now. Overall. This is usually a pretty chaotic scene, or at times. Here's the place. This hotel is so sketchy. Another dirty room. If you're seeing this, give the Duran a shot if you're ever in the Portland area. Just watch out for yourself. Winnie's Lounge. Is this place? Oh, this place is open. Please use hand sanitizer. Like, we don't have it, but use it before you come in. Okay, so I don't want to keep going south. I just didn't want to cut behind the hotel. Do I want to go this way? I don't think I want to go down any of these streets. I don't know if this one ends or not. Okay, I'm going to keep going this way. We go here, then I'm gonna go like 1 block down to Lambert. Then Lambert takes me to like Flavel Park, which we might see some interesting stuff there. I don't know, but that would get me back up to Flavel. I just wanted to circumvent the immediate area there. I also wanted to get at least a little bit of a shot of the motel, since I was already discussing it. It's a doozy. There's furniture out there. We've got a few vehicles that look like they haven't been driven in a good many centuries. You know, I think this is like a place where they get like iron and stuff. Oh man, free is a very good price. Is this table free? Oh, a very thin road. Alright, so I'm gonna, because I think this just dead ends. So I just wrap down to Lambert. Lambert, the sheepish lion, Lambert. Is that like an old Disney cartoon? I forget what that's from. He was always trying to be a wild and woolly sheep. Anybody who pulls over and stops near me, I'm like, what do you want? I also noticed, like, okay, yeah, so this is a good stretch of road. That's what I was kind of looking for. A stretch of road that doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. But yeah, I forgot, there is actually behind, like, the 7-Eleven and the Duran, there's actually like a homeless outreach type place, which explains why there's always a really high concentration. It's a kind of a sign, especially when you have a lot of homeless people but a lot of them don't necessarily like have like a tent or anything set up that they're staying in. It might be that there's like a place like that close by. Like there's one of those along Burnside, right as you cross over into downtown. So I mean, you're going into the edge of Old Town and Chinatown. There's going to be a lot of homeless anyway, but there's a lot of them in particular there because there's I always forget what it's called, but yeah, it's like one of those main places that's there to try to help, you know, homeless people and, you know, people struggling. Where's this park? I'm also specifically in the Brentwood, Darlington neighborhood, which I know a lot of people say that's kind of the focal area for Felony Flats. A lot of people I saw on Reddit. Is that an old sausage? I don't know. That looks like an old piece of like, you know, link sausage. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I saw a lot of people commenting on Reddit were saying that, you know, they live in this neighborhood. And again, I'm just doing this for the hell of it. It's another part of the city to be seen. You know, one of the things I like to do with this channel is just show a little bit of everything in the city. Yeah, I love going to downtown Portland. Yeah, I showed a lot of my particular area in Southeast Portland because I was stuck there for the past year. But you know, I'm not claiming to be a Felony Flats expert. I'm just a guy with a camera just going out and looking at the world. Because I know, you know, when you go to a certain neighborhood and you're like, hey, I'm in this place, I know there's going to be at least a couple people that live in this area or that have lived in the, you know, general Felony Flats area for a long time. They're going to be like, no, you were wrong about this. Why are you even going there? You don't even live there. Act like you're an expert. I'm like, I'm not. I'm just having some fun. Cool it. You're fine. We're going to be okay. But there's always, people get so defensive about the neighborhood they live in. I'm not saying like a bunch of you folks that live in this area are going to do that. I just know that there's always a handful that come out of the woodwork and just snap. Okay, actually, it does. I was about to say this road looks like it goes for a long time, but it actually kind of looks like it just ends up here. So I'm glad there's a park here. That's not bad. There's like nobody here. It's always weird when there's a park like in the middle of a residential town. I've said this before in previous videos. It's always weird to me when there's just like nobody here. I was expecting at least see a handful of homeless people. Man, I'm all alone. Yeah, even the playground equipment is devoid. Oh, there's a school on the other side of it. I was about to say, what's this other field over here? Yeah, so there is nothing going on here. So does this just end here, pathwise? I think so. I think I need to, I love, though, that they have, it's a rare sighting, the old merry-go-round, bust your face, and they have the seesaw. Oh, I've missed you dearly. All right, but I'm gonna go this way, because I'm not here to talk about fond childhood memories. I'm here to get knifed. But yeah, so this will take me right back to, this is obviously a busy crossing street, so it's obviously Flavel. And I'm just gonna keep on meandering. And maybe, I don't know if I'll traverse that much space, because obviously I gotta eventually backtrack to get on the max again. So maybe I'll keep, gradually work my way north as I'm also kind of working my way east and eventually come back at the Foster. Because the next stop up from Flavel is Foster. It's interesting, the first 3 stops, this is pretty. The first 3 stops when you leave Clackamas Town Center are Fuller, Flavel, and Foster. And then the next one's Holgate, and that ruins the whole thing. Okay, so coming back to Flavel. There's actually this looks like a small apartment complex over here, but the building across from it is all boarded up. Or is this a house? I don't know, whatever this is, it's all boarded up. It looks more like a house. Are there people living here? It looks like there's people living here. There's people that have stuff out in front, but Everything's, yeah, there's a person standing in there. But like, I don't know. It's just interesting that these are on the same property together. Whatever, this one's boarded up. Keep oot. All right, we are back to Flavel. I think that's how I pronounced it as a kid, Flavel. And hopefully nobody's gonna come from either direction and mess with me. There's cars parked here in front of the park. I'm like, why ain't you going to the park? There's nobody here. You'd have the park all to yourself, man. No crappy areas complete without a large mobile home park. Except this doesn't look too bad, you know, compared to some of the mobile home parks I've seen in my day. Of course, some jerk off had to come through here like a bully, walk up behind this nice little scooter, not bothering anybody, and push it over. You know what? I want to be a good Samaritan. And, man, no, I'm not trying to help you. I'm trying to just, well, I mean, I am helping you, but I'm just trying to get you back on your feet. You know, some local's gonna see that and be like, look at this pussy, fucking like trying to help. So I'm coming up to 72nd and Flavel, which actually I recognize. I forget that I used to take Flavel, or not Flavel, I used to take 72nd going to work back when I actually had a car, like 2007 to 2010. I would usually go down 72nd as opposed to the freeway, or 82nd. Yeah, because I was going to say, I recognize the Lee's, I recognize the grocery outlet. Like, I started seeing things I recognized, and I'm like, why do I recognize stuff in this area? It's like, oh, it's because it's 72nd. You used to go this way all the time. In the good old days. When I had an effing car. Alright, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go north. I'm gonna go north a little bit. Try to loiter in the street and get a good shot as long as I can before people start coming. So now, so I'm going north on 72nd, just north of Flavel. Oh, hidden bricks, forgotten bricks, brickety bricks. You know, the things you find wandering the endless abyss. Oh, we got some buckets up here. This is buckets of free stuff. So I'm noticing a lot of stuff thrown out on the streets for free. Walking around today. I don't know. Maybe this is free stuff. Maybe. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of random crap. Oh, we got a box up here. We got a box. Free stuff. Box of free stuff. Or is it a ruse? Is this van over here just like secretly a cop van? Someone's gonna leap out and bust me because there's like cocaine in this box. That's oh man, there's VHS tapes in there. Freaking VHS tapes. God, that's something I want to do. I want to get a VCR that works and buy like those mystery VHS tapes at yard sales and see what's on them. Oh, I mean, talk about searching for something scary. Who are you? Who are these mutts? Who are you? Let's see, Ogden and 72nd. I'm gonna go up just a little bit more. Even though I want to start going east end. What is this? What is this? I don't think I've seen this ride before in town, but this is pretty impressive. Oh my God. I don't know what it means, but I love it. I don't know what it means, but I love it. That is awesome. Kudos for putting the work in. I mean, that's something else. That's king of the road is what it said on the side. That guy's working on another wavelength than the rest of us. I'm out here just making videos lackadaisical, throwing them together. That guy's out there doing the Lord's work. Or the King's work. I think that would work. I think Felony Flats is getting to me. Go, FedEx man, go! 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 Deliver those packages. Do it! Do it now! Woo! Oh, that's a piece of bamboo. Got some bamboo out on the street. Pretty sure I told in a video once a long time ago a story about how I got out of doing yard work for a guy by telling him I was allergic to all the bamboo in his yard. True story. Just to gloss over it again, this is before I actually got a regular job, and I was kind of searching for jobs, but I was like too young and inexperienced to know what really qualified as a good job, or what qualified as a job. And so this guy hired me to do yard work for him. And this is 2005. This guy was paying me out of pocket $15 an hour to do general yard work. I did like 6 hours of work for him, and he paid me like $90. Like barely, like doing just general yard work and getting that $15 an hour wage, no taxes, because he was just paying me out of pocket. And this is in 2005. And Cooper Street looks nice and beat up and gravelly. I'm gonna go down Cooper Street. And literally the guy sketched me out so bad that like I worked for him like a Friday, and then I came back on a Monday, so I had the weekend off and the whole weekend. And I think some of it was that like, oh no, I have to acknowledge I'm an adult now and I have to work, and I don't want to work because I haven't had to. I'm sure some of it was that crap. But the guy just weirded me out, and he lived in this house that had no windows. There was just one little window on the back, and all I could see were trophies up there. And he had a cat that he called Mr. Krypton, and he said those trophies were like for his cats, almost like a cat shrine was the only thing you could. And I never went into his house. I did hours of yard work for him, but never went into his house. And so I got weirded out by this guy real bad. And that whole weekend, I was just like, I don't want to go back. This guy kind of scares me. And he had these kind of bug eyes. He was always like this, and he had a big beard, and he was just... And I remember, because it's 2005, like it was fall too, so like Hurricane Katrina just happened. And I wish I could remember exactly what he said, but he made some really weird, kind of insensitive remarks about Hurricane Katrina. I don't remember anything like racially being said, but I remember he made some weird comments about like Hurricane Katrina and like 9/11 that just catapulted. I was like, this guy's gonna kill me, cut me up, and eat me. So I'm there Monday doing stuff, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? I do not, like, obviously I can just like say screw it and never show up again, but I was too introverted for that. So I'm there working, and it's starting to drizzle, and it's not cold, but it's like dipping into the 50s, and it's raining, and so I'm a little bit like, I'm starting to sniffle a little bit, kind of, you know, and then I look up, and this guy, and I realize the guy's got a beautiful yard. He's got bamboo all over the place. So I come up to him at the end of my thing, and I'm just, sniffling a lot. And I'm like, I think I'm allergic to your bamboo. Like I had a really hard time working today. Absolute effing lie. Because I couldn't just be like, dude, you creep me out. Pay me, and I'm going home. Or don't pay me. As long as I make it home without you killing me, then everything's still okay. But I thought, I'll just throw this excuse his way. And he was like, didn't know you could be allergic to bamboo, but guess you can be allergic to anything these days. And it was kind of this like up in the air thing. He was like, well, if you want to come back, that's fine. When you can go home, you can call me or I can call you. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. Got in my car, freaking left. Never saw that guy again. And that was, technically that was the first time someone actively hired me on what was probably going to be a fairly consistent basis. And it was just, again, I think having a lack of work experience, just going to some random dude's house in an area I didn't really know, and just kind of just me one-on-one with this guy who was kind of weird. It was just, for an introvert too, it was such a just bad experience. But I got $90 out of it. Here's, I guess, some of those efforts to beautify the area. Some new stuff going up. And there's some newer houses down there and a guy working on his roof. I mean, there is stuff going on. Anyway, I'm on Duke Street now. Duke and 70, that was 70th. So I'm going east on Duke. So the numbers are just getting smaller and smaller. And again, I'm gonna kind of linger between. I'm not really gonna meander too close. I mean, ultimately I want to end up at Foster, but I don't want to meander too far north. I mean, I will as I start going back that way, because some people say along Duke here is really where Felony Flats ends. Again, other people have said Foster, other people have said Powell. And what the devil do we have here? We've got some art. Some stitchery. Yes. Love. There's a heart. It's like love, yes. The things you find in this city. That's fine. You know, they're promoting love, and promoting love in an artistic fashion. You know, what better thing is there to do? So yeah, it's like a stop sign pole love sock. They're at I think it's 69th and Duke. This house got real beat up. Maybe fire damaged, I don't know. This house got destroyed. Get the state. I'm guessing this hasn't been lived in a while. What the F is that? Is that a freaking hanging chair? Hey, but they got DirecTV, bruh. Yeah, that's there's a story behind that. Okay, I'm at 66th and Duke. I'm gonna start going south again a little bit because I'm trying to. My objective is to kind of maintain being in the Flavel Duke area till I get a little further down and then make my way back up and never get north of Foster. Even though Foster does go diagonal, so hitting Foster further east, further west of here is not the same as hitting Foster like due north of where I'm at right now. I was gonna say, side note, as I'm making my way from Duke back towards Flavel. So, you know, it's just a sign of, you know, people who, you know, someone working really hard and getting the results. You know, because I've abandoned the notion of the American dream being a reality a long time ago. Sometimes you get lucky, you work really hard and you get somewhere, but a lot of times it's about luck and or knowing the right people or being born into the right family. And what the hell is that? I don't know what that is. But I guess they're doing, you know, my girlfriend is a big Drake and Josh fan. I think she's like kind of around, so she was like, you know, younger when that show came out. So she's a big Josh Peck fan. And I guess Disney has a show coming out on Disney Plus. It's like a Turner and Hooch based series, which Turner and Hooch was like a movie with Tom Hanks where he has a big slobbering mutt with him. So like Josh Peck is going to be doing a TV series based on that. So I said that to my girlfriend and she's like, oh, I got the Disney Plus just in time. But the reason I even found out about that was because of someone that I did a film with. But anyway, her name is Jackie Penn. And she's been in LA a few years now, and you know, and like I'll see her Facebook things pop up, and she's really just been working her way up. And ooh, I like the vibes of this. Oh, you can't even see it. It's like I'm about to go out in the country, but it's just that the road's all gravel. Anyway, so Jackie has been just like working her way up, and she's reached the level of like a writer's assistant, and she's I said she's actually got writing credits on this particular show, so she's moving up. She's working her way up. And when I met her it would have been like probably April, May 2015. you know, I was just hiring her to be, you know, my primary, because I didn't have money to get a big crew, and a lot of the film was being shot in a car where literally there was room for me, 2 actors, and 1 other person. So she mostly was like the sound person for a good chunk of that film. And when I met her, you know, I was like, oh, you'd be doing sound. And she was, you know, and she was talking about how she was like new to this and didn't really know how to do, you know, a lot of the stuff yet. And I'd have to show her how to do sound. And it was like, you know, she was so new to it all. And here we are, you know, about 6 years later, and she's making it happen. So that's awesome. Kudos to her. You know, I never like people's statuses on Facebook unless they're big things. And I've actually liked a few of her statuses because I've been in the George Foreman grill? I think so. Score. So yeah, good on her for busting her hump, as they, I think that's as they used to say. I don't think people really say that much anymore. Where is this road taking me? This actually looks like kind of newer housing. I see a big field way off ahead. I'm wondering if that's either a park or a school. Well, I know I looked and there's, I can't remember if it's on the north or south side of Duke. There's a park up here somewhere. So maybe this is just that park. Oh yeah. So yeah, I just checked on my map app real quick, and yeah, this is called like Brentwood City Park, and it looks like it's a big one. Just string after string of like the same home being repeated over and over again. That's how they do it. One simple work plan, and what's going on with these? I don't know. Something's going on. Ooh, hell yeah. More free tires. And I'm at the park. Thank God, because that was a little ominous back there. Yeah, this is a big park. Of course, I'm going back north, which I wasn't planning on doing. I was going to head back down towards Flavel. I guess I can just cut across the park and do that. So yeah, this is Brentwood. That's one of those nice old city park signs. I feel like it's, you know, the sketchier the area, the more run down the area is, the longer they let the signs rot before they replace them. Because you go to parks in other parts of the city and you're gonna see some pretty nice, like freshly redone signs. Oh man, there's a public restroom, but I really don't want to use it. Not now. Oh man, it's one of these. I love these trees. I think these are technically considered coastal trees. They're not super common, which is interesting because there's like 3 of them. There's one here, there's one over here, but there's a guy sleeping under that. But yeah, there was one of these in the parking lot at the church where I used to go to, and they're just these billowing masses. And yeah, the bases, this one's not too crazy, but yeah, usually the trunk base can be like 15 feet wide. They're just real dense. Remember, we used to like run up the sides of them and then push off to the ground, you know, back before I was in my 30s, and every single little fall I had broke something. I'm exaggerating, but yeah, those trees are awesome. So yeah, I'm just gonna weave my way through the park and just kind of stay in this general region until I get a little further west. Even though it's getting a little, the further away I feel you get from 82nd, the less felony flatty it gets. Even compared to now standards, there's still like a lot of the things I'm seeing are things you can see in pretty much any part of most of the east side of Portland. You know, random stuff scattered around. Homeless people. Ooh, free shopping cart. I'm collecting a lot of free items today. I feel like every time I see something like that, I should do like a little emoji in the corner, like plus shopping cart. And when all is said and done, after all these therapy walks I do, I like add up all of the junk I've quote, collected in almost a video game sense. Be like, the last 10 therapy walks I've collected broken computer screen, lots of tires and abandoned like recliners and box springs, a few shopping carts. I found a lot of stuff in my adventures. It's a way of acting like you got something but not having to worry about storing it somewhere. Is it just me? I mean, maybe this is for the kids. I'm like, this soccer goalpost is way too low. Like, I can almost, like, this thing's probably exactly 6 feet tall. So I'm very close to being damaged. A guy who's like 6'1" is gonna walk and they can go underneath it and just kind of go like, what the heck? Oh man. And just as I started talking about collecting items, right here next to this learning garden, which is actually kind of tragic, I just made the score of a lifetime. Woo! Ding, 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 ding. And more tires. That's like, is that like 8 tires? Yeah, I feel like so many schools in Portland look like that. Elementary school or middle school or high schools are usually a little bit more flashy, but yeah, I guess it's called Lane Middle School. I saw the sign there that said like 6th grade, like transitional. I think it's one of those things where like when you're a 6th grader and they like bring you over to the middle school for a few hours and tell you what your new life's gonna be like, and all the extroverted kids are like, whoa, middle school, we're freaking teens now. And then all the introverted kids are like, wait, you mean I have to go to a bigger school with more people that I don't know? I'm a strange subject though. A lot of people hated middle school. I hated the first half of my freshman year, first half of 7th grade. And then as my grades got up and I just started getting more comfortable in the whole thing, I actually thoroughly enjoyed middle school. More than the very start of high school. Well, I guess the start of high school is not really great for anybody either. Your freshman mate. What's up, freshman? Want a knuckle sandwich? Because it's like 1983 apparently. What happened to the knuckle sandwich? That used to be like every uncle I had when I like the first like 10 years of my life was threatening me with a knuckle sandwich at some point in my life. I think one of them actually kind of dug their. It's a little bit abusive now that I think about it. I just wish I could remember which uncle it was. Take him down. Gotta get that guy off the streets, whichever one it was. Not my Uncle Steve, rest in peace. 'Cause I was named after him. I can't take him down. And he had enough struggles the last like 15, 20 years of his life, so. But yeah, that's the uncle I'm named after. Uncle Steve, rest in peace, died, I forget, like late 2000s, 2000, I'm going this way, or gravel road. I mean, I want to say like 2007, 2008, there was this really, because my uncle, unfortunately, he developed a drinking problem, and he ended up pretty much becoming this like homeless alcoholic. Is that oh, okay, I thought I saw a woman's head. Like just like, it's just a head on the front of a Jeep. Ooh, that scared me. That's not frightening. Not at all. There's a lot of just like open space through here. But anyway, so what was the story I was telling? Now that's classy. I love it. But anyway, as I was saying, so my uncle, he became an alcoholic in the last 15 or so years of his life. For the most part, he was just kind of meandering around homeless through Northern California, and most of the time we had no idea where he was. And you know, but he just, you know, he would sleep wherever he could. I remember hearing stories about how, like, you know, he'd wander onto like a farm, you know, that maybe wasn't even still being used by anybody, and he would just sleep in the barn if no one was there to stop him. And so he like randomly showed up at the house, my grandparents' house once, just drunk as hell. And then he just disappeared. And like within a year of his death, me and my dad are driving down to Sacramento to pick up all my uncle's belongings, because he'd come up to visit us, and that turned into a more permanent stay. So me and my dad went down to gather up all of his stuff in a U-Haul and move it north with us. And we were on our way down there, and we stopped at this random gas station next to like a little store heading up into Mount Shasta. And out of nowhere, my uncle pops out and just kind of wanders up. And I was, you know, kind of awkward because I knew he was an alcoholic and kind of, you know, just not doing great at that time. And I was like 19, 20 at the time, but still, so I was kind of awkward, but I tried to be nice, and he kind of leaned into the car and was like, you know, kind of, hey, Steve, you know, and you could tell he was, it got to a point where it was hard to know whether he was drunk or he had just kind of permanently gotten himself into like just a permanent state where he just looked drunk all the time. But it was just very strange, and honestly kind of nice when all is said and done that this absolute 1 in a million chance encounter happened. As me and Dad were literally going by this place, and we stopped for like 5 minutes to get gas, and my uncle, who had just been wandering all over the place, just happened to be there. So I got to still, you know, he wasn't in great shape, but I got to see my uncle, who I'm named after, one last time before he passed away. And as I understand it, he actually was starting to get himself cleaned up, and he'd gotten himself into a better situation, but I think he just, you know, he just did too much to his liver, and he just couldn't, you know, it gave out on him, unfortunately. Whew. My emotions are a felony flat right now. Alright, so here's the plan. Flavel is right here. 52nd is like one more street down. So I'm gonna get to 52nd and Flavel and start heading north, and then gradually making my way east, but a little bit north of Duke. So you get to see a little bit of the, I guess the part that's north of where a lot of people kind of say actual Felony Flats is, but it's still an area that's just kind of, you know, crappy in parts.